All right, I think we are just about ready to go. So yeah, this topic, I know Pam has been just waiting to be able to start her lessons on defense. I've been waiting with bated breath to be able to learn alongside you guys with these lessons. I don't know if I'm the only one, but I know I neglect defense too much. So I could sure use these lessons, and so thank you guys for coming to join us. And for folks watching via the replay, thank you guys for joining us as well. All right, I think it's finally time to begin. Please join me in a warm welcome for our teacher, Ms. Pam Livingston. Hey there, Pam. Oh, I can't wait for today's lesson.
Well, I don't know if you remember a few weeks ago when we first started talking about me joining LearnBridge Online, I said straight away, I want to teach defense, I want to teach defense. And here we are. That's great.
Well, I just can't wait. I suppose the whole lesson will reveal why. But what would you quickly say to those of us who perhaps aren't paying enough attention to defense? Why is it your favorite topic to teach?
Well, for a start, it's half the hands that we play. It's my favorite topic to teach because it's my favorite aspect of the game for myself. It's the bit I enjoy the most. And yeah, and also I found when I was in the novice sort of intermediate stage of my game, I found there was lots of stuff available for declarer play, lots of stuff available for bidding, and there wasn't quite so much around for defence. I got told by one of the seniors at my club, well, just use logic. Sure. And I think another one told me to use common sense. Well, okay, sure. But yeah, I think there is a need for some guidance at this level to learn the common sense and the logic because, you know, it can be learned. And so, yeah, here I am.
Well, we are lucky to have you in our corner. I'll be here to help. Just call out my name, however I can help. Let me know. And for the folks attending live, reach out via the support widget. I'll be here. Okay, over to you, Pam.
Cool. Well, welcome everybody. To those of you who have been in my bidding class for the last 4 weeks, it's great to see you back, and we're having a little bit of a change of tack with our subject, defence. For those who are joining us as friends for the first time, it's really nice to see you, and I really do encourage you to participate using the chat box down to your right there. And for those that are watching the recording, I hope that you'll be answering the questions that I ask at home and working out what we're talking about. So let's get on with it, on with our defence. Let's go to the correct screen first. So we want to just become better defenders. And for half the hands that are played, we are defending. So it's an important part of the game. And I know when I was starting out, I used to think if we were defending that we'd lost. I used to think, oh, well, you know, they've won the auction. They've sort of won the game and we have to sit here and do this boring stuff. I don't know about you. But now, instead of thinking, oh, it's their turn to have all the fun, we can turn that around to think, well, here's an opportunity to get a good score. Yay. And that's actually how I feel every time I am defending a hand. Now, as I said, I'm just very aware about, at this level, the excellent resources and things available for bidding and for declarer play, and just it's a little bit harder for defence. So we have a carding method with our partner. We might play low encouraging, or we might throw out what we don't want as a carding method. And we also have our leads that we make, and top of a sequence and middle up down, or top of a doubleton. And we agree those with our partner before we play. But the tricky thing is actually applying those things in the correct manner. So in bidding, you learn a whole lot of rules and stuff. Like, in the last 4 weeks, we've been learning about check back statement, and we learned that off when that applies. But we have fewer tools when we're defending, and we need to learn how to use them. But we have one extra thing that we have when we're defending that we don't have when we're declaring, and that is we've got our friend across the table, our partner, and we're really working together as a partnership. And I don't know about you, but I really enjoy that aspect of the game. Now, I'm going to say, some of you have heard me say this before, but I really like it as describing the play of the hand in the most simplistic way. And I guess it's sort of a holistic guide to what we're actually trying to do. So we can all see half the pack when the hand's being played. Dummy's having a rest, but declarer and the defenders can each see their own hand, and they can see dummy. We can see half the pack. And in the play of the hand, what we are trying to do is work out how the other half of the pack is distributed between the two hands we can't see. I said it was a very simplistic explanation, but that's actually really what it's about. So let's move on. Now, as I said before, when defence goes right, it's really, really great, and it's a truly partnership endeavour. And I'm thinking, I've picked this picture because I find that most bridge players are nerds. And I mean that lovingly, because I class myself as a nerd too. And that when it goes well, it feels like it's a Vulcan mind meld. It's really good. And if you don't understand this reference, it's from Star Trek. So we have this mind meld with our partner when it goes really well. It's a really good feeling. But sometimes it feels like this, like ever want to grab someone in the Vulcan mind meld to see what on earth they were thinking? Yeah, sometimes it's like that, and sometimes your partner feels like that about you. But that's bridge, isn't it? It's a partnership game, and that building of the partnership and the dynamic is, I think, what makes bridge really special. Now, as I said, I've been talking to Bajir about starting this class for a while now, and I've been thinking about how should we start talking about defence, because like the whole of bridge, it's a pretty big subject, defence, and where to start. And I thought, right, well, I think a good place to start is at trick 1. Now, what I've done is using Bridge Base Online, the hand viewer, I've just picked out 5 hands that I played, that I was on defence, and they're fairly random hands, and that, they're not, when you read a book, there's when you read a bridge book, and there's some amazing development that happens that you can deduce in this once every 3 months is this fantastic hand. And a lot of bridge books talk about those amazing hands. Well, most defence hands aren't like that, but we still have to work hard on every defence hand. Now, when I say work hard, what I mean is we are looking for clues. We're looking for clues on how to work out how that half of the pack is distributed between the two hands that we can't see. So when I say I'm working hard at the table, that's what I'm doing. I'm looking for clues. I'm trying to put the pieces of the puzzle together. So I thought, well, where should we start? And I thought, well, we'll start at trick 1, and I've pulled out these 5 hands, and what we're going to do tonight is look at just the first trick, because there's a lot of information available at the first trick. So what we're going to do is think about what we know so far about the hand. And to help us, we've got the auction, because the auction tells us quite a lot about the hand. And then, of course, when you see dummy, that tells us a little bit more. Hopefully, I'm sure Declare is hoping that dummy looks like the bid that was made by the head that's dummy. It doesn't always. Sometimes we're surprised. And also the play to the first trick. Now, when I'm talking about both declare play and defence, I give the advice of make a plan at trick 1. And we sort of can make a plan at trick 1 to an extent, but it's only trick 1 and we haven't got all the information we need to make a plan. There may be some players on the planet that look at the first trick in dummy and they know exactly what to do for the whole hand. There may be some people like that. I'm not one of them, and I haven't met one of them in my lifetime. So as a novice intermediate, we sometimes think that the experts just know everything. They can see through the back of the cards. But what they're actually doing is they're methodically going through and gathering bits of information. So I'm going to show you what I mean about that, and we're going to start with the first hand. Right, so I'm hoping you're seeing a hand there. And for those of you that don't know, my name on bridge bass is Kermit. But I'm going to look at this hand. I played this hand with my friend Jeff, and he's the person that's on lead. And I'm actually going to look at this hand from the south point of view. And we're going to gather some information. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the auction. So East opened 1 spade. And so, well, they're going to have at least 5 spades. We know that because that's what the robots play. And then West has bid 2 spades. So they're going to have 3 or 4 spades and around 6 to 9 points. Now, my partner, North, is a passed hand. And neither of us took a bid. But the first thing I'm thinking when I go to make a lead with South's hand, and I think this on, I promise you, I think this on every single hand. How many points do I think my partner's got? Have they got more points than me or less? So here, that's my question to you. So we're South, this is our hand. Any idea how many points North might have? We've got some clues in the auction. Quite a big clue is that that East didn't try for game. after hearing 2 spades. So they're limited in how many points they're going to have. So Jane is saying 9. Okay, Jane, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'd like to hear your reasoning. I think you're about right. I think 9's about right. But why do you think 9? And has anyone else got a thought on how many points North has once they see this? Well, what I'm thinking is Miriam's 4 to 14. Okay, yeah, that's quite a big range too, and sort of 9's kind of in the middle of that. So Jane's saying east-west is 12 plus and 9 max, and south is 11. Yeah, so you're doing your sums there quite well, Jane. So so the way I'd be thinking about it is east has 8 to 9. Yep. So east has about a 12 count, and I guess it could be up to about 15, maybe. Yep. And the 2 spades is 6 to 9. So, and how many have I got? I'll do a little count up. I've got 11. Okay, so let's say that they're both minimum, so they have 20. They're both minimum, so they have about 18. So 12 and 6 is 18. So there's 22 between us. So North could have up to 11. Yeah. The hands could be equal, so they could be up to 11. I think the most that east-west would have between them without making some kind of game try would be 23. So probably only 22, wouldn't it be, if they might make a game try with 23 points between them. So 22 and 11 is 33, so that gives North about 7. So we're in the 7 to 11 range in partner's hand. And in Jane, 9, that was right in the middle. So yeah, good thinking. Okay, so the points are about even between the hands, between the 2 sides, I should say. So now I'm going to choose my opening lead. Now, I know, there's a general rule, 4th highest of your longest and strongest, and that's not a bad rule to fall back on. But I find that when I'm deciding what to lead, I need to look at the option and think about where the points are distributed. And quite often when I'm picking a lead, I eliminate the ones that I really don't like. Sometimes there's a lead that looks really obvious straight away, and I go, right, that looks really obvious, but I still go and just do a quick check on the other 3 suits in case I have overlooked something. But usually, if it looks like an obvious lead, then it is. But we're not always blessed with an obvious lead. And what I do personally is I go through and I eliminate things I definitely don't want to lead. Now, when you're looking at the south hand, is there anything you definitely don't want to lead on this hand? Well, B's saying don't lead trumps. And Jane said C, which I presume she means clubs. Yeah, cool. Now, my first thought when I looked at that is I don't want to lead spades, which are trumps. I don't see how that's going to help my side. And I've got a vain hope, or I've got a hope that Easter's going to have the ace of spades and might finesse into my hand twice. And yeah, I would quite enjoy that if Declara did that. So I'm immediately going to eliminate playing spades, and that leaves the other three side suits. Now, Jane's not keen on clubs, and you know what? I'm not really either. It could be right. North could have some good club cards, but I'm not that keen on it. And from the two red suits, I'm going to pick diamonds. Any idea why I'm going to pick diamonds over hearts in this case? Now I'm just going to say something here about me giving my opinion. Have you ever looked at expert panels and their answers to questions? So New Zealand Bridge runs they ask the panel type thing twice a week. It's on their website, and I'm on that panel, and we get given a question and a hand. What would you bid with this hand? So you'd think, right? I mean, I thought when I started the game, if you got a panel of experts and asked them all the same question, they'd give you the same answer. But that is really the case on this New Zealand Bridge one, and it's one of the attractions about Bridge. So opinions will vary because Bridge isn't very often clear cut about what we do. So if you think of it in terms as you're just going to try and make a sensible decision using your judgment, and sometimes it'll be successful and sometimes it won't. So my choice on this hand is the Queen of Diamonds, and I've got some reasons for doing that. And I've seen we've got a couple of other people that can looking at that and seeing why I'm picking that. And near sequence and diamonds, yeah, and joining honours. So there's just less gaps in the diamond suit. So that's why I'm going to pick the diamond suit in this case. And this card I'm going to lead is the top of a broken sequence. You know, I've got Queen Jack, so I'm going to lead the Jack. So this is my choice. So I'm going to play the first card, and Dummy's going to go down, and then North will play their card, and East. So we're going to play to the first trick, and we're going to see if we learn more once Dummy's gone down. Okay. Dummy's pretty much what we're expecting. So there's 4 spades instead of a possible 3 spades. The robots play 5 card majors, so 2 spades can be 3 or 4. How many spades will North have? Or put it another way, what's the most number of spades that North can have? Yeah. So if 2, yeah. So if East has got 5 and West has got 4, I've got 2, then the most that North can have is 2. They might have less, but that's the most they can have. Now, I've got a question for you. Who do you think has got the King of Diamonds? So remember, we're trying to place hands. We're trying to place cards, work out how the cards we can't see are distributed between the 2 hands. Who do you think's got the King of Diamonds? Now, come on, at worst, it's a 50-50 guess. So you can have a guess if you like. I'd quite like to hear why you think what you think. So we've got a couple of norths, and we've got an east. And I'd quite like to hear why you think that. One of the things I've had to learn as a bridge teacher, so I've played and played and played and played for years, and what I've had to learn is to articulate my thinking, because, you know, we think really fast at the bridge table. Sometimes we don't feel like we do, but we're constantly making decisions really fast, and we don't necessarily do it in the front of our brain. So sometimes it can be hard to work that out. Right, so we've got, because North played the 6. Okay, so I'm thinking that you're thinking that that's an encouraging card. Because, so Kobe's saying East, because East has not got King, Queen, Jack of Spades. Yeah, that's really interesting. So right there, that's a really good thing, Kobe. So we think that it's pretty likely that East has got the Ace of Spades, aren't we? It's not guaranteed. Yeah. So East has had the King. You would keep an entry to dummy if you could. Yeah, that's a good one too. I'm going to tell you what I think, and I could be wrong, but this is my thinking about it. Sorry, I keep looking at the chat and not looking at you. Sorry, I've got to get used to that. I'm going to tell you my thinking. Now, I think that North has got the King of Diamonds. The reason I think North has got the King of Diamonds is simply because the 10 of Diamonds is in dummy. So if Declara had the King of Diamonds, I think they'd quite like to win with the King of Diamonds and then finesse for the Jack of Diamonds to the 10. I think, yeah, so you think about if you were Declara and the Queen of Diamonds were led, you would want to finesse for the Jack. And that's why I think that the King of Diamonds is with North. I might be wrong. I might be wrong, but that's what I think. And I'm also going with Kobe on this and saying I think that East probably has the Ace of Spades. So that's quite a lot. That's quite a lot that we've done. I'm not sure how many minutes we spent on that hand, but that was trick 1, and we have all this information. That's pretty cool. Okay, so I'm just going to flip back to the slide. And so we thought about trick 1, and we thought about the auction when you saw dummy and the play to the first trick. And the play to the first trick, we used signals, and somebody said that the 6 of Diamonds looks like an encouraging signal, and we do use signals, that is for sure. But we also need to look at everything that's happening, everything. And I think it's just practice, lots of practice, and it's quite hard work, but the rewards are there. Now, this is something that I do. Now, I say these things to myself in my head. So when I made this decision, and I'm pretty sure that the King of Diamonds with North, I say to myself, hopefully my lips don't move. I say to myself, the king of diamonds is with North. Declarer has no points in diamonds. By saying it to myself, I think it helps make it stick in my brain for later if I need it. So I say to myself, the king of diamonds is with North and East has no points in diamonds. Do you do that when you're thinking about the hand? It's one of the, when I am watching novice and intermediate players at my club, it's one of the things that I really notice, and I think that really distinguishes them from our more senior experienced players. The experienced players are thinking all the time about what's going on. It doesn't always pay dividends, but they're working hard at the table, right? It is hard work, and but that's why we play it, because it's good, because it's good fun. So we're going to do another one now, do another hand, and we're just going to do trick one again. Okay, so we're going to look at the option, and this time my partner's on lead. So I opened one heart. I was overcalled 2 diamonds. My partner had nothing to say, but that doesn't mean they don't have any points. It just means they don't have a suitable bid. And then East bid 3 diamonds, and it all got a bit too high for me. So I passed this one out. Okay. Who's got more points? South or North? And can you take a guess on how many points North has? First of all, who do you think has more points? North or South? Jane's saying South. Yeah. Got another South. Anyone for North? Okay. Well, let's have a bit of a guess about how many points North has. Well, what do I expect? So I've got 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I've got a 14 count. And West, I don't know, between East and West, they've probably got about 20. So it's something like 12 and 8. They could be up to about 22 maybe. So yeah, if I check with that bid there, 3 diamonds, it says 8 to 10. So we're looking at about 20 points with the opposition. So how many points do I think North's got? Around 5. Yep. 4 to 6, 5, something like that. Around 5. I'm just a little bit weary of putting an exact number on it. So I'd say around 5 is good. 5 is a good guess. I'm not saying it's not a good guess, but it's around 5. It's sort of around 4 to 6. So yeah, that's pretty interesting, isn't it? Okay, so I was thinking that while my partner was deciding what to lead, which hopefully didn't take that long, but you never know. It depends who you play with, doesn't it? Okay, so let's have a look at the lead. Okay, well, unsurprisingly, they've led my suit that I've taken the trouble to bid, and they led the 10 of hearts. Where's the jack? Where's the jack of hearts? I can see 10 hearts. The only ones I can't see are the jack and the 3. So where's the jack? The Jackson West. Why? How do I know that? I'm not saying you're wrong. Yeah, right. So because if North had the Jack and the 10, they would have led the Jack. So we know that West has got the Jack. So let's see what happens then when we play to the trick. So unsurprisingly, East rose with the Ace of Hearts, and the robot in West played the Jack of Hearts. Let's declare. Right, tell me, who's got the 3? There's one out. There's one we can't see. North or West got the 3? Okay, I'm not disagreeing with you. Why? Why have they got the 3? It's much faster to get the answer than it is to get the explanation. Right. Why play the Jack if you don't have to? Yeah. And because West played the Jack, the only heart. Yep, I'd agree with that. Now, sometimes people are sneaky and they false card. You've probably come across people false carding. But in this case, if they had the Jack and the 3, it would seem quite a silly false card, really, wouldn't it? I mean, they've already won the trick, and if they had the Jack, that might come in later when it's in use later, when, because they've got the Queen. Okay, so that's quite some interesting information. So what I say to myself now is that Declarer only has 1 heart. So I say that to myself. Declarer has only got 1 heart, and North started with 2 hearts. Right, I'm not 100% sure where that fits in the puzzle, but it's a piece of information that I've got. Okay? So we're just going to take a little break now because we've been thinking really hard, and I just wanted to show you something that amused me, amazed me. And it's when I was putting this presentation together, and I wanted a picture of a bridge hand for the first slide, and I said, bridge hand image. And I'm going to show you what I got. It's amazing. Look at that. Look at that. That's in Vietnam. And that is a pedestrian bridge. Has anyone been there? Has anyone actually seen it? I haven't. I've never been to Vietnam. I think that's really amazing. Beautiful design. Now, the reason I'm showing you this is because it's gorgeous. But there's another reason, and that is because I wanted you and me to have a rest from all the thinking that we're doing, because it's quite hard work. So you normally play, 24, 26 hands in a session, and say you declare for a quarter of them and defending for half of them, and you're going to be working hard at the table now in your defense if you weren't already. That's pretty hard work. So how can you take a rest? Do you take a rest if you think that you're playing against a really good player? When do you take a rest when you're playing bridge? Yes. The answer is when I don't have any good cards. No, that's sorry, you're not allowed to rest then. You rest when you are dummy. And this is really important, and it's very overlooked. Now, if you were playing some other sport, and bridge is a sport, it's a mind sport. If you were playing some other sport, let's say you were playing in a netball tournament that was going all day, and you were going to play 4 games in your tournament, and so you had 3 breaks during the day. During that day, would you be going for a 5-kilometre run? During that break, would you be going for a 5-kilometre run? No, you would not. Of course you would not. Okay, you'd be resting. You'd be resting, give yourself some time to recoup, just breathe out, and it's exactly the same when you are dummy. Now, it's quite funny at the club because I like playing with novice players at my club. I really enjoy it, and they quite often say to me, "Oh, Pam, you know, how should I have played that hand? Should I have done this, that, or the other first?" And I say to them, "Oh, look at the hand record at the end." But I honestly, I don't watch. I really don't have any idea, really, what is going on in the play of the hand, because it's actually, I can't do anything about it. Like, partner, you're declarer, you're on your own. I can't help you. In fact, I think it helps by not paying attention. Then partner doesn't feel so self-conscious, you know. I don't like it when I'm declarer and partner studies every card that I play. It's bad for them too, they're not resting, but I don't think it's helpful for declarer. And my personal one I find, you know, really annoying is when someone tells their partner at the end that, oh, the 9 of diamonds and dummy was good. Right, well... So how helpful is telling partner that the 9 of diamonds and dummy was good? Like, you're not allowed to undo and replay the blooming thing, right? So it'll just make partner feel bad. It'll make it'll make your opponents feel good. There's just no upside. There is no upside to telling your partner that the 9 of diamonds was good, or whatever. So what I'm saying is, really take that time. I really do it. I really do it. When I'm dummy, I'm resting. I'm not thinking about the hand. I'm consciously thinking about something else or trying not to think at all. I think not thinking at all is quite hard. So, yeah, I'm not sure what I think about. I think about horses. Think about shoes, what I'm going to cook. Anyway, you get the picture. We're having a rest, and you have a rest at the table. Right, let's go and do another one. Okay, now here's one where I had quite a nice hand, and I played this with my friend Jan, and I opened one heart. On this now, for those of you who play standard, Jan and I play Ecole, and that's why we're opening a 4-card heart suit. Yeah, so a lot of Ecole played in New Zealand. So I opened one heart, and East doubled, and Jan passed, and the Westbid won no trump, and that auction was passed out. I've got quite a nice hand, haven't I? And I'm on lead. So I'm going to ask you my question again. Who has the most, I think this one's a bit easy, who has the most points out of North and South? Yeah, sorry, that was a gimme. Okay. Yeah, North does. Okay, so got a guess then on how many points South has got? She didn't take a bid. I've got 15, less than 5. Yeah, okay, how did we get there? So I've got 15. East doubled, I've got 12, that's about 27. And West is sort of probably, I don't know, 7 to 9, maybe 6 to 9. So what did we get up to? 15 and 12 is 27 and 6 is 33. But Kobe's saying less than 5. Hang on a minute. Partner didn't bid. Normally, if partner had 6 points, they would normally bid in the south seat, wouldn't they? Yeah. But she would have tried to find a bid if she possibly could. So we're thinking 5 or less points from south, and so now I'm on lead. Ooh, I don't want to lead anything with this hand. Do you feel like that sometimes? I don't want to lead anything. Okay, eliminating the bad stuff, the ones I definitely am not going to lead. I think leading either of those minors, when I've got an, ace 10 and ace 4 2, I think leading either of those minors is bad. Yeah, what would I lead? The ace, and I'm just waving. It's not even taking an honour. It's not even trying to take an honour. So I don't want to just plonk down an ace. And partner's got 5 or less points, so it's a bit of a dim hope that I'm going to lead an ace and find something fantastic in Jan's hand. It's a bit of a dim hope, I think. So I don't know about you, but I'm eliminating leading a minor here. Now, hearts is definitely, well, it's not my longest. I've got 2 4-card suits. It definitely is my strongest, and that is the typical advice that you'd get. And I think many people would lead a heart on this auction. 4th highest of your longest and strongest. Who knows what West has got? They have got some hearts. Yeah. Well, I kind of think if I lead a heart, I'm just giving them heart tricks as well. But I don't really want to lead that. Easter's doubled. They often have 4 spades, but not always. So here's a question for you. Yeah, passive lead with the spades, no support from partner on hearts. I mean, partner's going to try and support me, aren't they? So I've got a question for you. Got a question. What's the most number of spades that West has got? So I've got 4. And East doubled. Yeah, no, I'm not agreeing with that one, Kobe, because I think if they had 5 spades, they'd bid 1 spade. Did I say the right thing? Did I say West? True. How many spades has West got? The most that they've got. Yeah, I think 3. I think as I said, if East doubles, and the robots are pretty reliable. It's a takeout double. They often have 4 spades. It's certainly centred around spades. I think for sure, actually, that West would bid 1 spade if they had 4. So West is going to have 3 or less spades. East 3 or 4 spades. They're not going to double with 2. I know we see this at our club sometimes, but the robot's pretty reliable. So East is going to have 3 or 4 spades. Well, there's be lots of people leading a heart on this hand, and I don't think what does wrong mean? Wrong means it doesn't work on this hand. It's unsuccessful, but it is the 4th highest of your longest and strongest, and you know, if you were leading hard, I don't think that would be a bad lead. But I'm actually going to play a spade because I actually don't think it's going to do us, quite apart from anything, I don't think it's going to do us much harm. And I think somebody back there said passive lead. Yeah, it's quite passive, but it could work out all right. I don't know. That's what I'm going to do. Let's see what happens. Now, this was a hand, as I said, this was a hand I played with Jan, and we don't lead fourths, we lead thirds and fifths, in case you're wondering why I lead a 5, but she will have the same sort of information anyway. So I chose the 5 on this hand, and I'm pretty pleased when I see dummy. I'm pretty pleased when I see dummy because they've got it, you know, on a at best there's 3 in east and 3 in west. And I tell you what, I was even more pleased when I saw that. Okay, so I was even more pleased when I saw that. I thought I have not given anything away. I've, you know, my lead's been successful. I'm not going to say it's right, saying it's successful. I had a couple of things to choose from. That's the one I chose. Okay, so I'm quite pleased with this development. And so the jack and the queen was played. So now I'm saying to myself in my head, partner had at most 5 hearts, and I've seen 2 of them. I've seen the queen of spades. So the most they can have now is 3 points. That is what I'm saying to myself. And I'm saying, this is good. When I get in, because I'm going to get in quite a lot with all those lovely cards that I've got, I can just keep leading spades here. Yeah, cool. So that was 3 defensive hands that we looked at. And we have, it's now 9:25, and we've looked, and we've really looked at the bits of information that we gather at trick 1, and I think it's pretty fascinating. It tells us quite a lot. So I'm just going to recap about what we've been talking about tonight, about becoming a better defender. So when we're defending, what I love about it is we're gathering the pieces of the puzzle together, because remember, we're just trying to work out how the cards we can't see are distributed between 2 hands. So we're gathering the pieces of the puzzle. We're not sure exactly how they're fitting together at trick 1, but we've got to have the pieces, and it all starts at trick 1. And the thing that we're thinking about is the auction. I mean, we learn a lot from the auction. When you see dummy, you learn some more. And what the other players play to the first trick. So we're working very hard at trick 1. And what I do, and it might be helpful for you, I don't know, this is what I do. I say it to myself, not out loud. Hopefully my lips don't move. I say, partner's got the king of diamonds. Therefore, declarer has no points in diamonds. And I say those things, and I think it makes them stick in my head. Well, I think everyone's worked really hard tonight. Well done. And I hope for those that are watching it, watching the replay, that you did the sums as well. Thank you very much. My regular class starts next week at this time. And it's a defence class, and we're going to talk about things such as this. And I'm going to, each lesson, I'm going to pick out one particular thing to look at. And here's some things that we're going to look at over the next few weeks. Should we encourage or discourage in a suit? We know that we can. We have a signal that we can play, but should we discourage or encourage in a suit? Another thing we might think about is, what do we think declarer's plan is going to be on this hand? because when we try and work out what Declare is trying to do, that can help us guide us in defence. So if we think that Declare is going to try and rough their long suit and dummy, for instance, we might try and get rid of their trunks and dummy. And here's a biggie: should we open up a new suit? Well, let's look at that one. And another little thing is just trying to work out why Declare has done something. Why did Declare cross to their hand in a certain suit to come back to their own hand? Stuff like that. We're going to talk about stuff like that. And at the end of each class, there'll be some notes and a wee quiz for you. So I hope you'll join me, and I hope you enjoy tonight's class.
Thank you so much, Pam. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Pam, that was a lovely lesson. Thank you.
So you see why I like it so much?
I do. And I have to say, it's so refreshing hearing your thought process and seeing how often you don't know for sure where a specific card is, but you're just talking it through, thinking about the likelihoods. Because that's the feeling I feel like I always have, and so often with I think lesson hands that are presented, it's like they're presented in such a way where it's almost like the hand is so perfect. Yeah. It's like, but so often it's unclear, and so hearing you talk us through it, how we can make our way through the fog, is really so helpful.
Yeah, and I think an important thing is, it's a lesson I've just learned over the years is that you've got to make a decision, and as long as you make that decision for a good reason, then that's okay, right? Yeah, because you're not going to get everything right. Nobody does. And what's right anyway? It's whether it's successful or not successful. Right is, there's odds involved, there's likelihoods involved. If something's likely to happen 90% of the time, then 10% it doesn't. Right?
Right.
Yeah.
And we have to then be comfortable with knowing, that we're playing the odds, but we have to trust the thought process. It's not evidence that we did it wrong. And I think that's where your help, you'll get us to that point. I really hope I get to that point. So please.
Yeah. Well, it's something that I think is really important, and I think that I think it really helps your game if you can become philosophical about it. Like, I'm not saying that I'm always calm and philosophical. I'm not going to lie to you, right? But it does help your game. It helps you make good choices. I think it doesn't make you feel bad about yourself if a play doesn't work, and it's bad for you to feel bad about yourself. I mean, that helps nobody. So anyway, actually, we've got started on another subject that I love, and so I better stop talking about it. I love that psychology part of it. Yeah, I think it's really important. Yeah.
I imagine we'll revisit that question. Another big question, and again, this might be one I'm guessing we have to save this for future lessons, but the question of what can we learn and practice regarding defense on our own, and what do we need to do within a partnership? What do we need to establish within our partnership? How much can we do as an individual?
Right, well, I can give you a quick answer right there, and I'm glad you've jogged my memory because I was going to mention this. So a lot of you will play on BBO or some other thing, and there is absolutely no reason why you can't set up a table with your partner or with 3 robots. You can do this at home instead of watching TV or or going for a run. No, don't do it instead. Go for
Still
a
go
run.
for a run.
Do both. But you can set up a table. You can do exactly what I've done here. You can bid against the robots, and then when you're defender, you can do this process. Now, if you find it easier when you're practicing like this just by yourself or with your partner, get a piece of paper, write down the things that you're learning, because I'm not going to kid you. You're not going to wake up tomorrow morning being able to do this and remember it all. It's practice, and it's practice storing the things that you learn. And I used to do this. I used to write, what do I know about this hand? And I would write everything down. You can't do that when you're playing. That's not allowed in the game, but it's certainly good practice. So there's a way that you can practice. Just do it at trick one to start with. Trick one. Yeah.
Thank you for that. And just a reminder to everyone, I guess it's a little bit of an exception this week because it's sort of a bonus lesson, but members of Pam's class will be able to ask her questions on the class page. So if you're doing that, you come across an interesting challenge related to something she's talking about in class, leave that question for her on the class page, and she's been doing a great job responding to those.
I love those questions. Don't be shy.
I also want to let everyone know, keep an eye on your inbox. I'm going to send the recording of this lesson just to everyone on the newsletter. Feel free to share it with friends. We're also going to, for Pam's ongoing weekly class, defense class, if you join the class now, the first 2 weeks are free. It's a free trial. And so we would love for you to join, and that's a way of thanking the folks who join early. So I'll send a link out how to do that. But if you just go to learnbridgeonline.com/Pam-Livingston, you'll be able to join as well. We'd love to see as many of you there if you're interested. Pam, thanks again. The last 4 lessons were great. This one was just fantastic. Makes me really excited about what you have in store for us.
Yay, I get to talk about defense.
Well, thank you everyone for joining us. The folks who join us live, also the people watching via the replay. Please take good care of yourselves. Take care.
See you. Nice to be